Red 2 standing by, all for lit and in the green. Welcome back to a very, very strange choice. Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. The banjo game that everyone pretty much forgets about. Banjo-Kazooie, we all know and love. Banjo-Tooie is maybe not quite as loved as Kazooie, but is still a pretty good game nonetheless. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, everyone absolutely hates. But at least they've heard of it. Well, there's maybe Banjo Pilot, which is even more forgotten about than this. It was kind of Diddy Kong Racing, but pretty much just there. Anyway, we are starting off a brand new game. 2 months have passed since Gruntilda the Witch was defeated by Banjo and Kazooie. After falling from her tower, Gruntilda was buried underground, where she remains waiting for her sisters to rescue her. Until this very day. Cut to Banjo's house.
Hey Kazooie, I'll clean the barbecue while you clean things up in the house.
Meanwhile, Klungo's still at it. He's been there for 2 months.
Klungo, not shift rock. Mistress Gruntilda, not get out. Maybe Klungo makes something to help Grunty.
And Klungo just sort of wanders off. A few fairly basic sound effects.
What's going on here? Mumbo, wait behind bush and see.
Pretty impressive for just some basic hammering effects, in all fairness. There is our Mecha Gruntilda.
Mistress can escape if she uses magic spell to get ghosts out from under rock and into Mecha Grunty.
In the design for Mecha Grunty, I believe it actually had the number plate of the Hag 1 on it, which was kind of weird. Or at least some of the design did. With the Mecha Grunty Klungo's made, Banjo's favour will be repaid. I'll steal Kazooie and in a blast I'll use my suit to change the past. Without his bird, Banjo's lost. I won't give up at any cost. Back over at Banjo's house, just a few feet away, how did they not notice that?
Banjo needs to get Kazooie quick. Grunty back, looking to kidnap favorite friend of Bear for evil plan to change history. Too late. Here Hag comes.
Now I have your feathered friend. On my sisters I won't depend. With this duo split in two, there's nothing that I cannot do. Hold tight, Kazooie. We'll move quite fast to travel back into the past.
Oh, we can't let Grunty get away with this. We've got to get Kazooie back before something awful happens. Mumbo used strong magic. Send Banjo back to same time as Grunty. Banjo tried to find ancestors of Mole and handsome young witch doctor. They help Bear get Bird back. Hope magic not have too many side effects.
So, with the help of Mumbo's magic spell, we travel back to the past. This is, admittedly, fairly basic in some ways. I'll get to that once our really, really trippy Hypno Spiral. If you start going all glory to the Hypno Toad, I don't blame you.
Well, that was some light show. Sure hope Grunty didn't spot you. Sorry to frighten you, Mr. Mole, sir. I'm feeling a little dizzy. I wonder, could you show me the way to Gruntilda's castle?
Grunty's castle's still being built. You must be Banjo. Letter about you appeared in a flash. Like you just did. Came from some Mimba Jimba fella.
Mumbo Jumbo.
Ah, it's true, I tell ya. Poof, and there it was. It said you need some help to remember a few moves you'd forgotten from your trip. By the way, you can call me Boz-Eye. You'll need to learn The pack-whack first. I've left my lessons at the next molehill just north of here. Press A and all come running. One more thing. Be sure to bring 10 musical notes with you. I ain't doing this for charity. We'll need to collect notes to trade for moves. So, at the moment, all we can do is jump. Fairly basic, but we'll be able to pick up various little things along the way, like our musical notes. Banjo can't even climb yet, which, interestingly enough, was a default skill in the original game. At least we could learn it from Bottles. Our standard musical notes. In case you haven't guessed, Bozai is the ancestor of Bottles, and Bozai, I believe, is a term for being cross-eyed. Anyway, we have a fairly basic game. The soundtrack isn't quite as expansive as the other Banjo games. I don't think Grant Kirkhope actually did the music for this one. But either way, it does still have some pretty good jams, some familiar tracks along the way, but there's not the signature Kirkhope touch. You will pick up a few of the tracks along the way. You've got most basic enemies, your gruntlings are back. There's a bit of an issue with this. When you take out enemies, they'll often respawn if you go far enough off screen, which can be a total hassle. And they don't always drop honeycombs either, which can be a bit of a bother. And speaking of, we actually start off with just 4. Our maximum is 8. We can check our totals here, change things around on our sound screen. What do we have here? This seems to be alright for now. Probably... yeah, that's about alright. That seems alright. And of course we can save down the bottom. There we are. We have 10 notes already, and we can pick up a few more. But we'll head out that way later on. Now, let's talk to Bozai. Well now, that's more like it. Let me see them notes. Here you go, Bozai. Okay, now let's see. You can use your pack to whack things. If you're standing still, just press B to trigger the pack whack. You'll need this to get into the Jiggy Temple. Just whack the switch on the floor to open the door. But, before you go into the temple, why not try talking to the JINJ Oracle? She might be able to help you find your bird. Which I suppose takes on a different meaning in the UK slang, because bird is slang for a girl or girlfriend. Thanks, Bozai. See you at the next molehill. So, basic pack whack. It's pretty much just a standard forward-facing smack. Whiplashes return from Banjo-Kazooie. And there we go, 1 Jinjo. You've just found a Jinjo. Go see the Jinjo Oracle. She'll tell you more about these creatures. Hopefully Banjo hasn't forgotten absolutely everything, otherwise that'd be a bit of a bother for him. Anyway, these will probably be shorter episodes because this is a shorter game. We at least haven't forgotten how to swim. Those honeycombs will make you feel better when you're taking a knock. There are 4 different kinds of honeycomb. Single honeycombs give you 1 unit of energy back. X2 honeycombs give you 2 units of energy back. While question mark and exclamation mark honeycombs give you back whatever the flashing honeycomb stops on when you press A. Presumably he doesn't know that Presumably he doesn't think Banjo can count, and I can't blame him. I mean, let's face it, back in Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo did kind of have to ask, how many do we need in terms of honeycombs, when it was very clearly printed on a note door, so Banjo's not always the brightest spark going around. Good heart, though. Anyway, most basic enemies will be dispatched by a pack whack. Your basic gruntlings will be 2, the whiplashes, and here's our Jinjo Oracle.
Why do you disturb the great Oracle of Jinjo? Sorry to bother you. I was wondering if you could help me find my friend Kazooie. Seek the scattered Jinjos and return to the Oracle. Then the Oracle will reveal all the secrets of Jinjodom with a press of A. Ooh, mysterious. Not really, Banjo. The Oracle does not get around much and requires fresh gossip from lost Jinjos. Impressive. You knew my name without asking. It is written all over the manual. Oh, thanks, Miss Arkle. I'll go find some Jinjos and call back later. Gruntilda has cast a spell on the Jiggy Priest. He needs your help in his temple to the south.
So the more Jinjos you find, the more information you will get. The information you have changes depending on the number of Jinjos. We'll be able to pick up a few more notes along the way. It's pretty basic in all fairness. Should be able to have about 25 before we go into the first world. Yeah, so there is our Jiggy Temple, and in we go. Jiggy Wiggy's Temple, we were here in Banjo-Tooie. It's notably different. A lot of things are quite a bit different because this is, of course, the past. And there we are, the Jiggy Priest is waiting with one Jiggy for us. You have just collected your first Jiggy. Jiggies are powerful objects containing magic strong enough to break the spells of the Great Witch Gruntilda. Gruntilda has scattered our Jiggies far and wide across many lands. The spell that she casts on us Jiggy Priests prevents us from touching any Jiggies, so we are powerless to stop her. The Jiggy that you've just collected has enough power to open the way to Cliff Farm. I will open the gateway to the altar for you. Please carry this Jiggy to the Jiggy Pad and press A to release the Jiggy magic. So let's head up to that pad and get Jiggy with it. You can make that pun as much as you like. Activate the Jiggy Crystal. And in a flash, the gateway to the Cliff Farm opens. We need 6 Jiggies for the next world. Heading up here, we can smash this. And we have an empty honeycomb. Looks like you've just picked up your first hollow honeycomb. Take them to Honeybee's Hive near Spiral Mountain to get your health bar extended. So, we're pretty much ready to go. I think probably wind up wrapping up the first episode here and make it fairly neat because there's not much we can do. As I've said, this game is admittedly quite basic. You do get the best ending for completing it in pretty much a speed run, under 2 hours 20 minutes. That's easy enough to do, but I'm not really going for speed. I'm going for 100% because it's not that hard to do. It is overall kind of repetitive in some elements. There are some very similar mini-games along the way. Some Jiggies are a bit the same, and the bosses, as you'll see, are a bit the same, but there is a certain layer of charm to the game as well. It's still a Banjo game, even if it plays out fairly differently to what we're used to, and it can be a bit of fun. Hopefully I'll be able to provide some of that for you as we travel through. Anyway, I will head on into this gate here and I'll see you at the Cliff Farm. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.